Hello, this is Beyond the Headlines. My name is Tim Bernard and we have another big show for you. A lot has been going on. I hope you enjoyed last week's documentary, Clinton Cash. There's tons of documentaries and free clips. Link to it, my website, a lot more articles and stuff there than I could ever go through. This is another way for me to reach out to people and try to wake people up to what is going on, not only in the morality or the lack thereof and the culture wars, but also in the physical plane, what's going on. We deal with prophecy and everything here, and let's get rolling. We are not the bought-off press. I don't have a multi-million-dollar contract. I don't even have a $1 contract, actually. My pay actually is in heaven for this. This is a gift from me to who's ever interested. And these boys have had a narrative, and boy, they are bought and paid for and have really been coming out strong in the last couple weeks. This is just an example of what is going on. The BBC reports the Germany suicide bombing as if the suicide bomber was the victim. This is a scientific technological elite. The people in all of the mainstream news, that's ABC, NBC, NBC, all of the cable stuff, fake news, Fox News, all of it, the bulk of them on there are nothing but propaganda ministers. And they aren't actually maybe paid off and everything. It's like a Colombian journalist told me back in 2008. We don't have any censorship laws or anything, but 300 of our colleagues have been murdered. So there's an unwritten rule that you toe the line, and everyone knows what the line is. And we are losing our free speech here in America. The Democrats especially would love to take it away, and so would the Rhino Republicans, because you can really see now how it is just one controlling force sitting on top. It's the money changers. That's who they are on the top. On the very top is the devil, as we'll get into shortly. But when you get down into the physical plane and people, it is the money changers who sit in the background, and the politicians and the media and all those people are just their puppets. They are the ones who sit behind maneuvering their little puppets. And here's William Casey, the CIA director under Ronald Reagan, who said, "We'll know our disinformation is complete when everything the American public believes is false." Nothing has changed since the Nazis. Well, nothing has changed for millennia, actually. But it's like the Nazis said, tell a big lie, tell it over and over, and eventually the people will believe it. But we are the resistance, the V, from the Vietnam War, for the peace sign, from World War II and the Vichy government, where the partisans in France would just mark V's in public places to let everyone know that there was a resistance, there is a resistance now. And I am just one of millions of us. Maybe with a little more public than most people. But the other side is public. Because they're trying to imitate God, and this is how the game is played. They tell us what they're doing to us, just as God has told us and warned us, and we, the people, have free will to choose which side. This is written by the Club of Rome, a globalist group, back in the 70s, where they divided the world up, and we are coming to you from Global Region 1, FEMA District 10. That's right. Check this stuff out. It's all there. I have a permanent link to this book on my website, and you'll see where they planned 40 years ago to use the climate issue. And in my lifetime, it's going to get cold, the global warming, but of course now they just call it climate change. Everything is our fault, and that's what it says. Right there, you'll see that humanity is the problem, and that's all they talk about is getting rid of us. And those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to check it out. This just happened less than 2 weeks ago. This is Bohemian Grove doing the cremation of care, where they're doing a mock sacrifice of a child on this altar. This is in Northern California. Every Republican president in the 20th century has been there. They write about it in their annals. This is from their annals. This is the lake where they bring the child in an effigy. And you can see the priests and stuff on the altar. This is Molech right out of the Old Testament. You know. And how blatant and open is it? After school Satan. Satanic temple promoting after school Satan. Places for the kids to go after school for a few hours. It's just becoming mainstream everywhere. Doing black masses. Here's a Democratic reverend. White male Christians, not Muslims, should apologize for terrorism. Okay. I mean, this is the insanity of the left. And the left needs to understand that if the Muslims ever come into full control, they're going to get rid of you guys. Because the Muslims hate you guys. Because you're apostates and you promote sin and decadence. And by that I also mean the rhinos who are pushing it. Because the rhinos, that's Republican in name only. And here we have, at the World Youth Day, the Vatican releases a teen sex ed program that leaves out parents and mortal sin. And here's our buddy, the Pope. He seems to be bucking for a very low place in the history of the church. History will judge him. But I simply point out what he is doing. And here he is, one of his papal, and this is only one of his papal advisors that is pro-abortion. We've shown you others. Some that are blatantly eugenicist, and his predecessor said it was our duty, but especially as Christians, to protest and to go against the eugenics program, which these people are promoting. I mean, that's what abortion is about. It's just one factor in the eugenics program. I've told you many times about the Georgia Guidestones. And where it openly says we need to maintain a population on the earth of under 500 million. Okay. And the truth doesn't go away just because you put your fingers in your ears or you look the other way. I only have to warn you, what you believe is your business, free will. But woe unto those who teach others to do that. Woe unto you. Here's an archbishop warns Muslims will to conquer. That is, if you read their writings, that's what it's all about. Now, it's like I've said, most Muslims are like most Christians. They're lukewarm. They just go along to get along. But if you think they won't bow down to the more radical Muslims who the globalists are using, and the left especially, to bring about their policies of a one world government, which is what they want. I mean, because they'll eventually turn on the Muslims, too. Here's a top cardinal. Islam wants to dominate the world. I mean, you'd have to forget history to not believe in that statement. You'd have to know nothing about Islam, quite frankly, to not believe in that statement. And anyone, you have to remember, part of Islam is to lie, to get their way. It's not just Christians who know how to lie. Here's Archbishop Burke again. An Irish archbishop derides Cardinal Burke's warning on Islam. Well, my friend, it's not just Cardinal Burke. It's the leaders, the bishops and stuff from Syria, where the Christian church is in disarray and is being destroyed in the Middle East, where it was founded. Because the Muslims are doing the devil's work. And woe, and this is part of a prophecy from Akita, which is a church-recognized prophecy, that said cardinal would rise against cardinal, bishop against bishop, priest against priest. Unfortunately, there's probably a division coming in the church from the lukewarm to apostate priests and clergy to the few who remain somewhat orthodox. And here's an example. They admit that they've brought in, and this number is even more than that now, over 6,700 Syrian refugees, but only 23 are Christians. And it's the Christians who are being persecuted the worst, but they also will persecute lukewarm Muslims over there. Clashes in Egyptian village after Muslims suspect the Christians of building a church. Our mother has even appeared in Egypt back like in the 60s or something, pretty pronounced in public. I mean, everyone could see her over one of the Coptic basilicas there. So you can check that out if you wish online. But this is what's going on. Persecution. And it's only going to get worse. Believe me. Here's Catholic Relief Services employees stand with Planned Parenthood. A eugenics operation. Openly. I mean, we've done so many exposés over the years on that. Not to mention the most recent in the last year of them selling body parts. Anyone who can stand with, and I mean anyone, whether it's, Clinton, who totally wants to promote it, or Trump, who lukewarm just said, well, they do some good stuff. You know, I mean, there is no excuse. This is Satan's temple, where they don't sacrifice children in effigy. At Planned Parenthood, they sacrifice the unborn child on the altar of lust and convenience. There's another article about the Vatican sex ed surrenders to the sexual revolution. Life and family leaders are reacting to this. I mean, people aren't going to stand up and just put up with your BS, buddy. I'm sorry. It's pathetic what is going on. Pathetic. And that's what the prophecies are, which we'll get into in a little bit. Here's an athlete who left his wife for the gay lifestyle, epitomizes our hopes for students. He was allowed to give a speech at the Catholic University, where someone like me, they wouldn't let me, they do everything to shun me from Catholic universities. But let me tell you, people, there is a day when I will speak, because I grow stronger every day. I am coming to the universities here. And I am able to reach many people this way. And you can pass these videos on. You can do something out there. What do we have? Oh, this is over in France. They wonder why you have so many problems in France. This is, you can just see a little bit of the French up here. This is a council meeting where these guys, a singer called Hellfest, pissing on Christ and kill the priests. That was a lyric in his song was piss on Christ and kill priests. And then this is a socialist politician replied, oh, artistic creation is free. And remember, here in America, I've shown you that before, where we paid an artist to fill up a glass jar with his urine and then to put a crucifix in that. And he called that free speech, something that we should pay for. Judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. And it's not going to be pretty. The San Jose Diocese says gay is okay. The LGBT ministry will not elaborate on church teaching on sexual morality. These are the people there. Just because you're a bishop or an archbishop or a cardinal in the church or even the pope, you can go to hell. And here's right from their whole thing. It says, these individuals do not choose and cannot change their sexual orientation. But they can not respond to it. They can live chaste lives, just as Jesus said in the Gospels, that people would be born as eunuchs, where you would, and if, it's just like, I mean, the worst sexual problems are still the heterosexual problems. It's never going to be okay to just blatantly have sex whenever you want outside of marriage. And in my younger days, when I walked away from the church and I was an easy target for the devil, I had plenty of indiscretions in my life. But we need to make changes. I've made massive changes in my life over the last several decades now. You can too. Just ask for God's help. If you seek Him, you will find Him. He will help you. Ask our mother. She is a mediatrix of all graces, just like she was in the Gospels, my friend. Remember the wedding feast at Cana? How much more will she do for your soul? Here's a little girl. My two moms are married. Breaking the Cross, Islamic State magazine mocks Christianity, claims Jesus a slave of Allah. And here's another one. Islamic State answers Pope Francis, ours is a religious war and we hate you. Now there's an honest statement about it. I mean, even we did that story before of Pope Francis with that one of the top imams, and he came out, I mean, read what he came out and said, that we're going to get the apostates. Parisian riot police drag a Catholic priest from the altar so they can destroy this church and turn it into a parking lot, because this is the traditional Mass, the Latin. The devil hates that most of all. The bulk of the apostates will be coming from the Novus Ordos side of the church. But there's plenty of people in the Latin community who do not want to know what's going on in the world at all. And so remember what Dante said in Dante's Inferno. The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who in a time of crisis remain neutral. And we are in a time of crisis. And most people are neutral or even worse. And if you don't want to believe that, you just want to go by Scripture, you can read what Jesus does to the lukewarm in the book of Revelation, where He says, how I wish you were hot or even cold. But since you are lukewarm, I spit you out of my mouth. And Egyptian Christians, we feel like second-class citizens. Oh yeah, no, they've been downgraded. Here's Pope Francis. If I speak of Islamic violence, I must speak of Catholic violence. Well, why don't you just speak about the apostasy that's going on? I mean, I sent him how disgusting a Jesuit college here is in Seattle. Just openly promoting promiscuity and homosexuality. Oh, we've only paid a couple billion in the American church, let alone the rest of the world. Here, and a priest is stabbed after opening his home to an asylum seeker who claimed to be in need. Get over it, they're liars. And there's many of the immigrants are good. And I'm for helping them in their country. I'm for stopping the wars, the fake wars that Obama, the prize loser, started, and Hillary Clinton started in Libya. Remember, we came, we saw, we killed. Oh man. Radical Christians entered a mosque and beheaded an imam. Oh, they aren't real Christians. Oh, they're a tiny minority of a great religion. Sounds like workplace violence. A religion of peace. Get off your high horse. Climate change is the real enemy. Yeah. Whatever you want to believe. Oh, move along, people. Just a Catholic priest. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. We don't want to call it radical Islam. You know, they're one of the latest new things is, oh, they just have some mental illness. Well, obviously, if you kill somebody, you've got a mental illness. Anyone. Top advisor to John Paul II warns of a cabal undermining the church with backing from within. And this has been written about Alta Vendetta. If you'd like to read about their plan, there's also a book, AA 1025, I believe. Anti-Apostle 1025. Some great stories. I've discussed all that before. Like the Fatima visionaries, we should meditate on hell. And not so much meditate on hell, but meditate on making sure that we are on the guest list to get into heaven. That is what we need. And remember the prophecies of Fatima, which were hidden, the third secret. And remember, next year we are going to have the celestial sign from the book of Revelation 12, which talks about, hasn't happened in 7,000 years, where it's right out of there. And a great wonder appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. And you should take a look at Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Muslim sign. Our mother will win. She is the Queen of Peace, because Jesus feels like that. Oh, and by the way, for you Bible thumpers who say, well, that's not in the Bible, maybe you better read Genesis. And the woman, and this is the woman, and name another woman who was the mother of God. Name another woman who is prophetically mentioned in the Bible. Only one woman is prophetically mentioned. And don't forget the wedding feast at Cana, for how she gets her way with our Lord. And this is what's coming. The reign of the Immaculate Heart of Mary and the Sacred Heart of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. They know what's going on. There will be changes. It's Our Lady of Good Success from 400 years ago, pointing to the 20th century, saying how corrupt it would be, that the Masonic sects would be some of it, how they would corrupt our children, and woe unto you who are corrupting our children. Woe unto you. And she also said that those who should have spoken out will fall silent. That's clergy, other religious leaders, political leaders, and other people who are leaders in the community. The key to the book of Revelation is Alpha and Omega, first and last. That's how the book is laid out if you read it. It's the 13th chapter where they really take out, and it's the 12th chapter where we begin this big change towards them. This cross on his forehead, for those of you who don't know, we are marked first. Go ahead and read the 6th chapter. The angels have been sent to the four corners of the earth, and God says, do not hurt the earth until we mark our people. You and I are not going to get a mark, but we need to believe in Jesus. And the reason we get it just in the forehead is because that's our intellect, where we think. This is Our Lady of La Salette, another church-approved apparition from the 1800s. The church will be eclipsed. At first, we will not know which is the true pope. Then secondly, the holy sacrifice of the Mass will cease to be offered in churches and houses, and it will be such that for a time there will not be public services, Masses, anymore. That's for 3.5 years, as it is written in the book of Revelation. But it will become underground. And she also goes on to say that Rome will lose the faith and will become the seat of the Antichrist. That's a Catholic prophecy. And here's our Secretary of State. This is what she was doing while she was Secretary of State. If you think she cares about you, you're dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, I played some of those clips before. There are blacks that are waking up to, this is just another form of keeping them on the plantation and the big mama here. And this is who Hillary bows down to. as they sacrifice Bernie. And dear old Billy, come on, Hillary, it's time for your acceptance speech. And Bill and Hillary are longtime CIA agents, just like the Bushes, just like, Papa Bush ran the CIA. Obama's mother. Hell yeah. No, we've been taken over. Here's Clinton Cash, a great, this is a book. It's also been turned into a documentary. It's free. It's on my website. You should check it out. Here's a list. CNN hides its own poll number. 75% react positively to Trump's speech. They've been doing everything to pretend like he's gone way down in the polls. This is, okay, hedge fund handouts. Hillary has 48 million. Donald Trump has like about less than $20,000. So who do you think big money wants? Huh? I mean, it's as plain as the nose on your face. And Obama's doing his job, and it's like he says, here we go. Yeah, look at this stuff. The Iran nuke deal, DNC emails, Benghazi, FBI probe, private servers, Obamacare, 19 trillion in debt, terror attacks, ISIS. Hey, of course that's who we want. Here's this bag of pus Cuban. He's trying to say that the Clinton Cash thing, which has been panned by leftists, media outlets like the New York Times, which is hardly right-wing, who did a huge expose saying what he promotes in that documentary is the truth. And the Huffington Post, another lefty organization, they came out and said, yeah. And of course, Schweitzer said, well, come on, Cuban, you're such a big shot. Come on, why don't you come and debate me? And let's go down to Haiti. See what they want, you big mouth. Huh? And here we go. We have, we hate Hillary. This is these guys are Haitians at the DNC. This is in Australia. First they did a picture of Hillary in a provocative bathing suit, and when people complain, then they put her in a burqa, her next favorite thing. You should check out her #1 advisor, Huma, is a total Muslim. Here's the Clinton campaign manager. Hillary will earn the trust after she's elected president. You know, it's just like Pelosi said, hey, you just need to pass Obamacare so we can find out what's in it beyond the fog of what's going on. I mean, anyone who votes for Hillary is a moron. And this is a leftist filmmaker, shows how empty the DNC was. This is for her acceptance speech and stuff. I mean, it's a joke what's going on. But the media, they know how to pan correctly so that, of course, less than 10% believe the media. Kamani says talks with the U.S. are lethal poison to Iran. And Obama just did trading, paid $400 million for 4 hostages, and so now they've taken some more. Because it pays with these guys. Obama is so weak. He's selling us out. The progressives have traded the Democratic Party. The official platform is now pro-fracking, pro-Monsanto, pro-TPP, and anti-GMO labeling. That's the Democrats. And the Rhino Republicans are all for that too. So, and they're doing everything to try to get rid of Trump. Everything they can. Economist magazine, the globalists must rally behind Hillary, the future of the liberal world order, which means neo-feudalism. Just a few people on top and the bulk of us poor. The countdown to John Podesta. Here's $35 million for the Russian deal, another one of Hillary's buddies. Oh, he loves it. And the Haitian press covers the Clinton Cash debate challenge to Mark Cuban. Of course, Cuban, I'm sort of above that all. You know, I got to worry about my basketball team and my money. Pat Caddell, on the Reuters poll. Never in my life have I seen a news organization do something so dishonest, because Trump just was surging, and so they just came up with new ways to make the poll and to say, oh, now he's behind. And this is at an Iowa fair, the Hillary for prison. They have her locked up, now, and they brought in the apostate Catholic, Mr. Kane, and it's funny, welcome aboard she goes, start bailing. Here's an exclusive from one of the top men, William Benny, in the NSA, saying the agency has all of Hillary Clinton's deleted emails, along with probably many foreign governments, because it wasn't that hard to get in, but we, the American people, we don't need it. And this is CNN. This isn't like a Photoshop thing. This is what CNN did to sort of enhance her, to make her the golden girl, the goddess. This is one of Obama's relatives is for Trump, because he's sick of her baloney and his, not exactly, his half-brother's baloney, Obama. The EU president, no matter how bad the immigrant or the migrant crisis is, terrorism gets, will never give up on open borders. Of course not, because this is a plan to take us down. The angel moms who lost children to illegal alien crimes hold an event at the wall surrounding Paul Ryan's home. Oh, and here's Paul Ryan flees the grieving moms, trying to show him photos of their children killed due to the open borders. This guy's a complete rhino. He belongs in jail, along with many other top Republicans. Here's a young French woman who's waking up and trying to awaken her people to save their country before it's completely gone. She's doing a lot of great things, and she's mildly said she'd rather see Trump over Hillary, because Trump has a lot of problems too. Climate change is a new reefer madness. Hollywood sci-fi films tapped into all this dramatical, fictional climate change, global warming, and no one wants to deal with what the real problem is sin in the world. Oh, and this is a graph of greenhouse gases. The largest greenhouse gas by far is water vapor. And the human part of water vapor is a fraction of 1%. This is natural, and the green, and here's CO2 down here. That's how much, and then of the CO2, it's just a fraction of that is ours, is man-made. And I am not for this complete petro oil energy policies that we have. I am 100% behind solar and stuff, but not these huge solar farms and wind farms. And I'm not for the grid. I'm for decentralized power. That makes a lot more sense strategically, in every respect. And if it wasn't being suppressed by the ruling elite, that is what we would have. If not individual, for your own homes, absolutely for very small neighborhoods. We already have the technology. The greatest masses of the people will more easily fall victims to a big lie than a small lie. Adolf Hitler. Another one of his famous quotes is, people would rather, fortunately for leaders, that their people are unwilling to think. This is the whole lukewarm thing. Here's a UKI mom. War is coming. Muslims can take women as sex slaves. And that's what they're doing. I mean, the refugees shout Allah Akbar before they torch some more buses. This is just getting people ready. This is the new normal. Oh yeah, they come in, they rape our people, and we even pay for it. I mean, that's the craziest part. What's this? Revolving door sends millions to refugee resettlement agency. run by former Clinton and Obama appointees. Yeah, I mean, this is big business. I mean, that's what the Democrats are: big government and the rhinos. The rhinos, like the Bushes and that whole side, McConnell, the leadership in the Republican Party should all be going to jail, or at least get the hell out. Syrian professor: Arabs migrate for sluts and welfare, attack when they don't get it. Pope Francis: every religion wants peace. Well, maybe you better study a little more about Islam, or get some Islamic scholar in there, or I'd be happy, Pope Francis, to show you in the Quran where it says exactly the opposite of what you're saying. I'm sorry. Here's a Normandy priest killers swear loyalty to Islamic State in a video. Photos of huge Islamist rally in Germany. I showed you the ones in Germany where they're marching down the streets, going, by the grace of Allah, we're going to take you over. And Merkel: mass migration policy will continue despite terror attacks. Of course, because she's bought off. Clinton cash Kaiser Khan. Remember this whole thing? His deep legal financial connections to Saudi Arabia and to Hillary Clinton Foundation tie. And an email, and the email scandals together. Kaiser Khan believes the Constitution always subordinated to Sharia law. The Sharia law expert Kaiser Khan lectures Trump again: read the Constitution. Well, maybe you should. And one of the things, of course, that they never spoke of at the DNC was any mention of the email scandal, of course, but of Clinton's, one of their big legacies, which is the Clinton Foundation. Pay to play and kill more cops. This Black Lives Matter. George Soros funded. He's been funding, and this is what he's done all around the world. And he openly stated that they gave these groups over $30 million to promote riots and unrest in America, to help bring about the type of society that they want. Here's some stuff on the Zika virus. An interesting thing here. The year of its origin is 1947. Blood from an experimental forest in Uganda. So how in the world did it get over here? But the Rockefeller Foundation, a huge eugenics operation. The Rockefeller Foundation. I've done plenty of research and exposed that before. You should look into it. These are all the executive orders that already exist from before, because the bottom one here was done by Bill Clinton. And these are, take over the media, take over the minerals and electric power, take over transportation, the media, welfare facilities, public and private, just everything, everything, the airports, housing, finance, railroads, everything. And they have multiple laws doing that. Remember, I did that story several months ago where the Republicans even passed a law, so it's even beyond the executive order. The Rhino Republicans passed a law, and a Democratic senator got up on the Senate floor and said, "Why are we passing this and giving all this power to the executive branch?" And here's some before and after pictures of some of Hillary Clinton's and Barack Obama's stuff. What do we have? We have over here, we have Iraq. Here's Libya, before and after. This is Yemen, and this is Syria. They go from thriving societies, or at least much better off societies, to literal hellholes. But Bill Gates and George Soros fund Monsanto and a world depopulation agenda. Tons of information on that. If you get past the beginning, they openly talk about it. I've shown you clips of Billy Boy saying as much. Here's an interesting story. A dumpster diving man spending just $3 on food each year and is eating healthier than most Americans. So there's a wide range of people, and I don't think that everyone could do this. He's just a smart guy who works hard. But a lot more people are going to be living on the outside. A look back at the Solar Impulse 2 extraordinary round-the-world solar flight. Solar energy has been artificially suppressed, and battery technology and everything has been suppressed to promote nuclear power. Even Obama's building the first 2 nukes, and they don't even know what to do with the crap from the last ones, not to mention how dangerous they are. We need to get away from that crap. Yeah, the U.S. approves UN use of force to protect civilians in conflict. And oh yeah, in South Sudan, soldiers rape UN camp girls by the dozen while peacekeepers watch. Okay. And that's just one story of many. Oh, and here's some good news. 1 in 4 U.S. Muslim youths approve of suicide bombing. And you see, even if they won't do the job, as long as they're there, they can point to them and use them as patsies when false flag operations. That's what all of this is. No one cares about, none of the elite care about the Muslims or the immigrants. They're just using them. That's all this is. And just like Jefferson warned us, a nation which expects to be ignorant and free and in a state of civilization expects that which never was and never will be, because the corrupt people just take over. Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Aldous Huxley. And you should listen to his speech that he gave to Berkeley in the 60s about what they're planning to do. He's a globalist. He's on the other side. Huxley is. If you do not warn the people, their blood, not could be, but is on your hands. Is on your hands. And here's George Soros, Obama's buddy. This is what Herman Goring talking about how easy it is to lead people to war. Look at how the Pied Piper Obama, Mr. Peace Prize. And here's Einstein, the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything, which is most of our leaders, whether they're religious or in the public. The bankster takeover just rolls on. Let me issue and control a nation's currency, and I care not who writes its laws. And they sit in the background as the master manipulators. And we need to wake up to what is going on. We need to stand up like Iceland did 8 years ago when the bankers threatened them with an economic collapse. And they said, no, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to throw your sorry butts in jail. And they did. How many people have the people or the party of the poor and the downtrodden and the masses done? They've thrown no one in jail. Not one person. Bernie Madoff got thrown in jail because he stole money from the wrong people. But nothing that, there are much bigger thieves than what Bernie, well, and I guess they threw Martha Stewart in, well, that was under the Bush thing. I mean, she was just some petty person. There's people stealing more than Martha took every day. The U.S. economy, close to stagnant for almost a year as growth shudders. They're keeping this hidden because they want to get Hillary in. And we're doing well here in Seattle and in specific places, and for the majority of the people, things are going well. But the actual unemployment rates are nowhere near what they're publicly saying. It's at least double to triple what they're saying. Middle class, bye-bye middle class. The rate of home ownership in the United States has hit the lowest level ever. And wait till it pops here in Seattle. there's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be very sorry that they purchased a home in the last year or so, because it is going to dive big time. Here's employment ratio since 2000. You can see how it's gone down and has never really come back up. It's still under 60%. We have a lower participation rate than we had in, like, I think it's almost back to the 60s now. It's definitely back to like 1970. So that's 40 years ago, 40 plus years, 45 years ago. And here's a top strategist for Mitsubishi. He goes, the jobs headline overstates the strength of payrolls because it's been adjusted. That's nowhere as strong as the headline. He goes and adds that private payrolls unadjusted, it was just 85,000 in July versus the seasonally adjusted 217,000. See, they just add these numbers in. They're just making it up and cooking it. And then you look at the kind of jobs, other than the tech stuff, we've been losing our manufacturing. It's still going down and is flat. When you start, and we need just over 200,000 jobs a month to break even. And that's not counting immigrants coming in. And we've got over 95 million working age Americans right now who are unemployed or not in the workforce. But welfare is booming. This is the total cost here. It's not sustainable, but that's what they want. This is the economic collapse that is coming, and it's going to get really bad in a little bit. We'll talk about that in just a second here. The study says banks in the EU stress test could require $900 billion. 34 listed banks in the latest stress test have lost an average of 33% of their book value. And we showed you Deutsche Bank, and before, I've done many stories on that, how much trouble it is in. And you need to understand and remember what I told you a year ago, that by the end of July, all the EU nations had to make it legal for bail-ins. And what's that? It's not going to be a bailout. They're going to go directly into your account and take your money to pay off these fat cat bankers. And remember what the bankers did the last time it collapsed, after they came in and talked to Congress, and it was so stressful to have to lie to Congress and beg for money because they lost so much money, and they're so insolvent now with the derivatives and that whole thing I've told you about. But after that, they went to a nice resort that cost about $500,000 for about a half a dozen guys. So they get stroked and pampered, and oh, that was so stressful to have to go and stand before all those crooks in Congress and tell them to screw the American people some more and give us more money. So if you think these people are for you, if you saw what the numbers were for Hillary with the hedge funds and how they're not voting for Trump. Now, why do you think that is? You think, I mean, what? Because Hillary will get up and lie to your face? How many times does Hillary have to lie to you? I mean, and Obama. I mean, it's a joke. And listen, Bush should be going to jail. He's a traitor. And when he was in power, I did stuff every week on him because we had so much stuff on him. You can go to my website and you can see it. The fake left-right paradigm. See, and this is on the left here. They say, oh yeah, everybody's welcome, and they're going, see, these guys are closed. Hey, everyone, you have to have borders to just be designed and to do things orderly. I'm not against immigrants. I work with tons of immigrants. But they bring them in to lower down our wages and stuff. And they even don't want, once they get established here, because then they have a vested interest and it's their wages that are going down. And if the whole thing collapses, we're all going to be in trouble. When it rains, everybody gets wet. And that's what's coming. Just because, and it's in it, remember the rainbow and how that came about? The earth will be purified again. Here's the last guy who took on the money changers, JFK. And that's why they do what they're told. This is the GMO food fed to a bunch of rats, and that's what they consider us, just rats. And through diet injections and injunctions, we'll combine from a very early age to produce the sort of character and the sort of beliefs that the authorities consider desirable. This is Bertrand Russell, written 63 years ago. See, this is common knowledge, what they're going to do to us. He's not on my side, he's on their side. He was a globalist. Here's what they're putting in our water. I've got a whole website and a link from my main news site to this website. If you have the guts, you should watch the documentary on there. It's free, called The Culling. And in there's a woman, Dr. Molinex, I believe her name was, who put her whole career was destroyed because she wouldn't lie about what she found about fluoride. There's so few people who would put their livelihood on the line. So few. No nation could preserve its freedom in the midst of continual warfare. False flag operations. What's coming? More false flag operations. Why? Because they work. It's that simple. That's why I know what's coming. It's not a prophecy. It's just how the world works. False flag operations. That's what the economic collapse was. That's what this whole migration stuff is all about. Speaking the truth in deceitful times is a revolutionary act. He saw the plan and he just wrote about it fictionally. Here's Building 7. Nothing hit it on September 11th. Over 500 feet tall, 47 stories. It magically just falls down. Happens all the time. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Over 2,500 architects and engineers have put their livelihood on the line by publicly saying, we need a real investigation because what you have put out is not the truth. And they didn't write about it at all in the initial report. And then when we pointed that out, then they've come up with over half a dozen explanations of how Building 7 fell, which have all been proven false. We're getting close now to 2017. This was a news show that was done in 2007, and it hasn't. And I'm not saying they started chipping people even before 2007. I did stories about them chipping people. Oh man, 12 years ago, back in 2004. And we do that stuff all the time, but they're just pushing it more and more and more. And see, they're just getting people more ready. They've done shows about where they put chips in the brain. A survey shows 34% of Americans are excited about the prospect of microchips implanted in their brains. This whole transhumanism stuff. I mean, it's just insane. But you want to know who controls the chip, you idiots? I mean, this is just basic software stuff. I understand it. I was into AI before God had other plans for me. So I'm not intimidated by this, and you're an idiot if you let somebody put a chip in you anywhere, but especially in your brain or in your hand. And here's Brzezinski writing about it, 46 years ago, Between Two Ages. The tectonic era involves a gradual appearance of a more controlled society. Such a society would be dominated by an elite unrestrained by traditional values, as we saw with Bohemian Grove and many other things. And the pedophilia in the elite is unbelievable. Soon it will be possible to assert almost continuous surveillance over every citizen and maintain up-to-date complete files containing even the most personal information about the citizen. These files will be subject to instantaneous retrieval by the authorities. Better look outside the frying pan, my friend. We are burning. The take-home message from 9/11 is that it was the anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi's very first protest, and we must be the change that we wish to see in the world. This has to be a revolution of love. They want hate. They will call love hate, and hate love. For this is the essence of what these people are. Good is called evil. Evil is called good. Seek the truth and bear witness to it. This will end the sacrifice. This is a legal abortion of a little girl. What was her choice? I wonder. You can wait and give your child up for adoption. There's waiting lists of people to adopt children. And here's a black pro-life leader. Planned Parenthood kills over 266 unarmed black lives each day. And of course, all of these big shots, Sharpton, Jackson, Oprah, they're all silent. This Benjamin Watson, a running back in the NFL, Planned Parenthood founded to exterminate blacks. Amen, brother. Amen. If everyone would stand up for that, remember those athletes that came out, oh yeah. If everyone was like this guy, it would end. If Beyonce would come out, but she's the devil's child, just like she says openly. We've done stuff on that. Jesus sees what's going on. The more that he has to do, he gives us enough grace to deal with it, but we don't use it. Get off your butt and do something. At the very least, you can pass this out. If you don't have a prayer life, you better get one. Better start now. Because only through prayer and fasting can we change the world. Only with God can we get the peace. They're going to offer you a false peace. That's what's coming. The Antichrist will offer you a false peace. But he's not here yet. We're first and we're last. They get it in the middle. My name is Tim Bernard. There's my website. Here's another decent website. Drudge, Breitbart, many good websites. Here's how you can get a hold of me. Email. You can write me a letter. You can tell people about the show, 8 to 9 on Thursday. Friday from midnight to 1 in the morning, and also Friday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. Now go out this week, my friend. Educate someone around you. We can change the world together. They want you to think we have no power. And may God bless you and keep you and your family safe this week. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.